Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Tarlach Time. As you can see, I probably have a much more clear voice. I'm using my sister's headset for this, so hopefully that's much better. Today we're going to be interviewing Aliami, and
Alright.
he's got one of the most peaceful voices you could ever hear. I'm sure he wouldn't agree with that. I know
Of course not.
most people don't enjoy their own voice, but I'm just gonna say, in my opinion, one of the most peaceful voices.
Well,
So are you ready for the questions?
oh yes, absolutely. And from me, good evening, everyone. I hope everyone's having a wonderful Sunday.
Aw, that's really sweet. It probably won't be Sunday by the time that this goes up.
Yeah,
But you know what?
but-
It's Sunday.
yeah, it's Sunday. So this interview is happening on a Sunday, so there you have it.
Yeah, exactly. Oh gosh, I have to harvest 10 potatoes. Okay. Well, so the first question is, how long have you been playing Mabinogi?
I started. Here's a story. I was on YouTube one day back in 2008, and I saw an advertisement on the side nailed there, and I clicked on it after it was bugging me for months. So I was like, you know what? I'll go ahead and give this a try. Because at that time I was already playing Pirates of the Caribbean online, but I had actually kind of quit there because everything became so easy to me there, and so I decided to give it a shot. And it was 2008. I think it was September or August. It was about G2 Season 3 when I started. Because shortly after that, that's when G3 came out and all that good stuff.
Yeah, of
But,
course.
well, when I got started, I love the atmosphere, I love the anime style, and just the unlimited opportunities that was available. I want to know a little bit more about it. I want to delve into this world and, explore and see what kind of trouble I can get into.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I feel like... See, I wasn't one to even watch that much anime, and I feel like other people are the exact same, and this game is still
Yes.
that fun. Even if you aren't into
Absolutely.
that.
Absolutely. I completely agree.
So what is your go-to fashion item?
My go-to fashion item was the Brill set. I know everyone has seen me in the game by now, and I had been wearing the Brill for over a year because when it first came out, my friend Tisuka, I don't know if how many people would know him, he wore his for the first time, and when I first laid eyes on that outfit, I was like, I have got to have that set. And
I know how that feels.
when I see a set or an outfit that I must have, and I finally get it, I'm going to wear it for a long time. Like
Yeah.
this most recent outfit, the steampunk.
Mhm.
I was so excited when that came out, and I owe my friend a lot of money for helping me, but I'm just happy I managed to get the whole set. Minus
Yeah.
the gloves. I don't like the gloves. I like the white butler gloves, but I even changed the tattoo to a mustache to look like a Italian villain, according to Lunar Fire.
Is there a certain person you've met on the game who you will always remember?
My very first friend, his name was Sub-Zero. I don't know if you remember him. His name was SUB with the number 0. He was the first one I ran into in the Albi lobby, and this was after my third defeat in against that stupid spider boss. I really sucked at the game at that time, and I came out and I just kind of sat down, and then he sat down. Then we just kind of started talking, and he was a little bit more experienced with the game at the time than I was, and so we got to talking about the game, talking about the adventures of the game, because he's the one that kind of took me places and took me out of the comfort zones. Like, I thought I wasn't prepared to leave Tyr, and he dragged me out of there anyway, only to die at the hands of bears.
Oh boy.
Yep.
Those darn bears.
Yes, absolutely. And then, too, another individual, he's the one that actually taught me how to fight in the game. Drawn it. Yes. Some people have seen him. Well, a lot of people known him back then. But yeah, he was a harsh teacher. I learned how to solo Rundle when I didn't know how to solo Albi or Sierra first. That's pretty much the first dungeon I soloed was Rundle. And it was because when he was going through it with me, teaching me how to play the game, he only rezzed me 3 times. And if I died the 4th time, he would leave me there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I got tired of that because I didn't know anything about the goddess statues. I thought I was going to be lying there forever until somebody comes along and resurrect me. So I preferred him not to leave me behind, so I learned really quickly. And let's see who else. Tosha. I don't know if many old Mabinogians would remember him, but he was actually my first opponent in the arena when Sub-Zero was showing me the PvP aspects of the game. He took me to the arena, and we just happened to see him epically sitting down in the middle of the arena, like he was waiting for people to come in there to their doom.
Oh boy.
And he was one of the highest levels at the time, so you can only imagine how well that went against him. I almost got him once, but he managed to turn it around on me.
My God.
So out of frustration, I got out of there. I didn't really learn much about the PvP aspect until I met Blake's, the friend that I mentioned earlier. And he was teaching me about the timing and stuff. This was at the time when the skills, had a loading time when you activate it. That's when I was actually decent. But I have not dueled or PvP'd ever since I've been back to the game, so I don't know the chemistry change as of yet, and I'm kind of not interested to know because I'd much rather just make music.
Yeah, and I think you do really well with music, so it's not a bad change.
Thank you.
I unfortunately I was doing the part-time job, and then I forgot I was doing the part-time job, and I accidentally switched channels to get the daily shadow mission, and so it failed the part-time job. I am kind of dumb.
You are not dumb.
So that's what happened. But as for that, what do you think you're remembered by in the community?
My leadership abilities when I was leading guilds. I heard time and time again I was one of the best ones. When I left Mabby and went to Vindictus, I became rank 1 guild in all of East Server, and I held that rank for all the way until I quit that game and came back to Mabby. But yeah, a lot of people who lead guilds, they just lead it to just to have some kind of empowerment. But to me, one of the most joyful moments of being a leader is watching other people grow.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, when I'm on a game, of course, I'll become strong. But when I look around and I see other people, discovering their own aspect of the game and getting stronger in that development, and then eventually becoming stronger in other fields, every single member that did that, I was proud of them. I was happy. And in fact, when we became rank 1 guild in Vendi, I just told everyone, I held a guild meeting and I said, remain humble. Just because we have just became rank 1 in the server does not mean that we have to beat our chest across all the other guilds, because everybody has their own guilds and they're leading their own way. And just so happens my way earned us into rank 1. And I couldn't have done this alone without all of you. So, yeah, I always went on about humbleness over pride. For example, if someone always won at something and they get this pride pedestal they want to step on, and then they come into my guild and go up against one of my members who never really had much of a competition aspect, or didn't expect to be challenged, and they end up winning. And that goes back to what I preached. Through humbleness, be surprised at what you can do, versus holding pride and having expectations, knowing that not everyone's going to always be up there, and when you fall, you're not really prepared for it. And that's where a lot of people get their prides hurt. So no matter how good you are, remain humble.
That's very true. That's an amazing amount of advice to give as well.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. What is your favorite talent to use?
I think you already know that one.
Do I?
Yes, music.
Music.
Yeah, see, when I discovered that you can, make your own music, it was not until 2009, because I was just trying to grasp the aspect of survival all the way, from September till the end of the year. Because G3 was no joke. Even with the best players helping, we still wiped. But when I discovered music making, considering I'm a musician here in real life as well as a composer, that was something that was really interesting. So I got into it. But because I was so new and I knew I would suck at the beginning, I did those practices in private where no one really knew. And eventually, I got good at it. This was before I discovered 3MLE. I had to do it the hardest way possible, which was buying many copies of scores and putting them in and testing them out by hand, which took months to finish 1 or 2 songs. It was horrible.
I liked how you said you're good at it when you're actually great at it.
Well, I mean, it's just something I really just love to do. And I became, even better at it over time. But there was one composer in the game that actually brought it up to the peak to where it is now. And his name was Sir Follis. I'm not sure if anybody remembers him, but he's one of those. He's a fellow musician as well, and he actually taught me how to feel like every note that you put into the songs. And of course, I did that, here in real life. But
Yeah.
it was much harder to do that, when I was still, getting used to the codings of macro music language.
Yeah.
And he taught me how to make music how your heart feels. And you notice, you've heard my songs, all of them are long, and all of them have dark, deep notes into it.
Yeah, they're all really beautiful. I love them.
Yeah, they're deep. That's my definition of love. Love is played throughout every single song. It depends on how I feel when I compose a song, but all of them has the most important aspect, which is love in it. It describes the depths. That's the reason why they're all deep. The depths of my heart. And all of them are long because my love is long lasting. And of course, if they're beautiful, then I suppose my love is also beautiful as well. I know that kind of sounds cheesy, but it is how it is.
That's something beautiful to say. Beautiful music and beautiful advice in terms of music.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I love that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So this is the one that we were talking about before. Do you have any memorable stories you'd like to share?
Let's see. Memorable stories. Oh, yes. I met a group of friends. It was Sub-Zero's friends. And they were doing 2 groups of people going through Rundle. It was hilarious because, I told him at that point, I was able to solo it. So I just kind of told everybody, you don't need this many people to clear Rundle, right? And we all went in because, it was fun anyway. And so many people charged this one skeleton. And you know how the game mechanics are about, when you knock an enemy down, then you hit him again. I mean, it was like it instantly went to non-aggro to splash damage, killing everybody.
Oh my gosh.
It was the most hilarious thing I've ever seen. I mean, you ought to have heard the sound that the splash damage made. It was insane. It made my speakers crackle a little bit.
Oh my god.
That was the most hilarious experience, just watching, the aftermath of that huge explosion of splash. And then I started seeing feathers pop up. I was like, yep, that's what happens. That also happened in the P.E.K.K.A. mass raids too. And those Hollow Knights with a gargoyle sword, when they swing once, my god. Everybody within range gets hit by that. It's insane.
Yeah, of course. That's funny.
Yeah.
What is your favorite animal?
My favorite animal?
Your favorite animal? I know, it's such a simple question.
Bunny rabbits.
Bunny rabbits.
Yes, I love bunny rabbits.
The guy with the peaceful voice, loving the bunny rabbits. Oh my gosh.
Yes, I mean, when I was in 9th grade, the teacher in our science class brought her rabbit to class, and I actually held him, and he was just a little ball of fluff in my arms. It was the most adorable thing.
Oh, they're so soft too.
Yes, they are.
See, like, I've had mice, I've had hamsters, I've had a chinchilla too, but I've never had any rabbits.
Oh dear.
But it would be interesting. Rabbits are really nice.
Yes, they are. Well, generally, I love wildlife anyway because I love adventure. I love nature walking and hearing the birds and seeing the squirrels and seeing the little elks or deer in the woods. And
yeah.
and all that good stuff, and dogs, cats, pretty much anything under God's creation.
Aw.
And I just love bunny rabbits. They're just fluffy and so lovable and just too cute.
Too cute.
They're not cute. They're coot. That's a step higher.
Oh, that's a good way to look at it.
Yeah. Mhm.
Oh. So what is your favorite dungeon or mission?
My favorite dungeon is
Rundle.
actually yes.
Really?
Rundle actually. Yeah, actually, because if you run that like on hard mode and run it solo, that's tremendous experience. It's still even more in Albi Advanced Hard Mode, but it's still a lot in there. And plus, that was my first dungeon that I've ever soloed. So Rundle's always going to have that place in my heart because my mentor taught me how to fight there. And also, I like Pekka because of the creepy gothy music in there. It really sets the setting of Pekka, especially when you're soloing it. It's just fun. That place has a lot of experience too. You just gotta avoid those ghosts, especially those blue ones. They're worse than the red ones because at least you can dodge those fireballs. But if you get struck by that thunder, you better put that shield up. And as for Shadow Mission, I prefer Other Alchemist. That was actually my prime training ground for all of my combat skills, because if you wanted like boss level enemies, that was the go-to because of the golem. Of course, it's not that now because my CP is like almost 5k. But back then, when I was still training, that was the place to go. For all fools, it was those alchemists, and the bosses were the golems. If I needed enemies that was my level, I just take the difficulty a step down, or down to intermediate, where the alchemists, they might end up being weak if I level up too much, but the golems would eventually become on par with my level in intermediate. So that's plenty of my level enemies to face with, and this is actually a good training method to give a lot of the other players that are training. If you're looking for a certain level of enemies, just change the difficulty of the Shadow Mission, and I highly recommend Other Alchemist.
Royal Alchemist missions. You mean all of them?
Yeah, well, all of them are good, but see, the golems in there have the highest CP. Minus the one boss at the end, but that's just one boss. You want to have a slew of golems throughout the dungeon.
Yeah, exactly.
And so hard mode, they would, if you're not done with your combat tab, they would generally end up going up to boss for you. So there's plenty of bosses for you. If the forest golems and regular golems are not boss level, then just keep going. You'll run into some snow golems and sulfur golems that'll probably up the ante for you.
Yeah. I actually go to Shadowcast City if I need to do any of my training, but I'm probably a lot lower in CP than you are.
Oh, well, I mean,
To each their own.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Did you play any other characters before this one?
No. I just stayed on Aliami. In fact, all of my games I've ever played, I named my character Aliami. There's a history to that.
A history of Aliamis.
Well, my name is Ali. That's my first name. But I had a childhood friend. His name was Ami Takanuma. And, we grew up together. When my father moved away, I trained my martial arts with him. And when we were both 16 years old, that's when he passed away, when he went to Asia. And he was on a camping trip with his grandparents, and I think a snake got him. But
That's so sad.
From then on, I just carry his name in pretty much any character I create.
That's really sweet. Oh.
Thank you.
Are there any other details you would like people to know about you, or if you have any advice? I'm sure you have a lot of advice.
I'd listened to Alchemy's interview before, and his ending advice was right on point. We're living in a time now where everybody wants to up their gear and be the hardest hitter in the game and such, and that shouldn't be the goal of the game when you play it. When I started, it was adventure. I want everyone to feel adventurous. This is that kind of game. That's what this game was created for. Not to power scale and power creep on each other to hitting stupid amount of damage just because somebody has the funds to throw away on reforges and risk their own gears with enchants that destroys their gears. I mean, I don't know about you, but I like my stuff, and I'm not really good with making gold in games, so I'm keeping my stuff when I get them. So when I put enchants on, it's going to be, just basic standard max damage increases and such, but that's pretty much all I need. I mean, I can clear a dungeon just as fast as any power creep, in Mabby. Because, I'm capped, they're capped, so what? There you go. But I don't rush dungeons. I still just run through them like I did in the old days. I want to keep feeling adventurous whenever I do a dungeon, not just want to speed it through just because I can or I'm in a rush, unless it is an emergency and I have to. But that's rarely the case. If it's an emergency, I just AFK, especially if I'm by myself.
Yeah.
But yeah, just find something in game that interests you and stick with it. And then once you master that, then just explore other revenues. I mean, look at our finest blacksmith repping to Jesus.
Oh yeah.
I love his name. But he's been the blacksmith of Tarlach since like the beginning of time, pretty much.
Everyone goes to him.
Yes, absolutely. And that's his passion. He wants to be the blacksmith of Tarlach, and I want to be the musician of Tarlach. And there's people who want to be just other crafts skills of Tarlach. We have Calcifer, I think it was his name. He's making a slew of stuff too. Just pursue anything. The opportunities are everywhere. Just find something that you enjoy and just build on it. And if you do get to cap like me, don't get cocky and don't become a power creep. Just take your time. If you want to reforge and enchant your stuff just for additional damage and effects, go right ahead. But that's not my focus, because I'm really strong enough without all that stuff. And so that's pretty much my advice to everyone in the community.
That's perfect. Good job. And people should look at that and really take that in.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, that's it. That's all the questions.
Oh, well. I thought it was like 15 more.
No, I've been trying to cut it down. I started with about 20 questions, and then the interviews became longer and longer, no matter how many questions I cut out. And I think this one's going to be a long one as well.
Yeah, I think it is.
But it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing, don't worry.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, no, there was only 10 questions in this one. So, yeah.
Oh, well. Well, sorry if I was long-winded.
Oh, no, it's okay. So, yeah, that's it. Thank you for doing this interview with us.
Oh,
And
thank you. It was a pleasure.
I hope people will get to know you more through this and remember you for your great music and your great advice.
Oh, absolutely.
So, I'll see everybody next time on the next Tarlach Time.
All right,
Bye-bye.
take care, everyone. Love you.